there, my name's Patrick and I'm going to show you a little bit of how I did the ghost effect. This is a common effect known as the Pepper's Ghost, and you can see it in a lot of professional venues like the Haunted Mansion and things like that, how they make see-through ghosts. So I'll show you a little bit of how I did it. So first of all, I created a bunch of candles that you see here made of PVC pipe and glue. This is an ongoing project that I've been working on for months, literally months, leading up to Halloween. I created about 30 of these that are around the outside of the house and inside. Quite by accident, I discovered that hot glue, at least the glue I'm using, glows in black light, which is a really cool, eerie effect on the candle mixed with the flashing of the LEDs. It looks really good. You know, same here, you know, there's just a bunch of these little candles that I built and put in different jars and things and tried to hide the wiring, but essentially candles all over. I also repurposed this light to be an LED driven light, so you can see here I made my own LED bulb there with little cheap Chinese LED bulbs, and I ran that through the cabling that was already built into it. So I basically converted the lamp into a DC lamp from AC to DC just by changing out, basically soldering the leads to the LED bulbs that I made to the inside of the bulb containers, and it worked pretty good. So I did that because I wanted the lamp to kind of do this cool fade on and zapping out effect and add to the sort of the ghost scene, and it works really well, I think. Got this candelabra at a local party rental place. They were selling it for pretty cheap, and I think it just really adds a lot to the feel of the room. These again are the PVC pipe candles that I made. I put a little more effort into the glue drippage going on here because it was sort of the main candles that you see. So got some more candles down here. Basically what I did was I created about 5 different candle channels that can independently flicker, and then I just wired them up together in series and in parallel depending on the situation, but basically put a bunch of these together, and it came out brilliantly, I think. In the back there's a small wall-mounted 3 candles in the back, and I think that those candles kind of are reminiscent of the Haunted Mansion's endless hallway scene just a bit, and I really like the way this little scene turned out, and of course that's where the ghost appears, which I'll get into in a minute. Also, I don't think in fact I know all cobwebs that you can buy at the store don't necessarily glow in blacklight, but these ones do, and I got these at Menards. I'm not sure where you could look for similar ones, but I specifically got these for that, and it looks great. So alright, so now a little more behind the scenes of how this got put together. So let me turn on the lights and illuminate the situation a bit. Everything is controlled by a single system over here in the back. This system here, let's see if I can, I don't think I'm going to be able to get more light on it actually. This system that I built back here is basically a giant wooden container, and in this container I house an Arduino Mega, and that Arduino Mega is then set up to run with RCA ports that I've set up here. I use pegboard actually to mount a lot of these things, and it works really well. The yellow lights are the 12 volt channels, and the red lights are the 5-volt channels. I'm doing all the lighting in the candles on the 5-volt. That's why you can see those are the candle channels flickering. You can see the indicator lights flicker too to give you a sense of how the candles will look. And then you have the different lighting scenes going on here, lit up at different times. And I put a cool little power button there. The whole thing is run on Vixen. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of Vixen. It's a great software package. It's free, works in Windows. Essentially, I programmed the whole main sequence in Vixen, set up all the lights. I've got a sequence of sound effects that are going here. And just as an example, if I hit play here, you'll see that the sequence will start. So you'll see the candles blow out. There we go. And the ghost lights up. You can see different things happening with the indicators there. Yeah. There we go. So, yeah, the indicator lights give you an idea of what's happening, obviously. Spent a lot of time learning how to do electronics over the last 6 months. I don't have any electronic experience, so if I can do it, you can do it. But basically designed my own system from scratch, built circuits that power higher current lights and can theoretically power anything from servos to lights, but in this case just lights. And it runs through MOSFETs, so N-channel MOSFETs, and it's all controlled with the PWM pins on an Arduino Mega. Arduino Mega has about 15 pins, I believe, PWM. I did recently design a new way to expand the PWM using an interesting approach with a PWM driver chip from Texas Instruments and some opto isolators to basically make it, I think this phrase is current mirroring, but anyway, I'm getting a little wonky. But anyway, the point is, it's endless what you can do with the Arduino platform. I mean, you can literally do anything. And having Vixen is just the ultimate. I mean, you can program this like a pro. You can make anything happen to sound. And so that's how that works. Okay, so now you've seen the system and how it all kind of fits together with the RCA connectors and the cables and Vixen and Arduino. But how did I do the Pepper's Ghost effect? Well, it's actually very simple to explain and understand, but extremely hard to pull off, which is probably why not very many people do it. So this is the area where the ghost appears. My house, I got the idea to do the Pepper's Ghost because actually it's an effect I've always wanted to do, first of all. But as I was examining this entry area of my house and trying to think of what can I do to really wow the kids this year, it occurred to me that the anatomy of my house itself lends itself to the trick. So first of all, what you may not realize, or maybe you do, is that there's a big, basically frame here, put at a 45-degree angle, okay? And that frame has a reflective surface on it, similar to glass. It's actually not glass, but it looks, I mean, it's pretty good. You can't really see through it. I mean, you can't really see it, is what I'm trying to say. You see right through it in the dark, dim lights like we have, and it's almost, you almost can't tell it's there. I mean, you have to really be looking for it. And that's what creates the illusion. The ghost, of course, is actually off to the side here in the closet. So the ghost is hanging out in the closet, not lit at all, in the dark, which is why you don't see the ghost right now. And as long as you light the back of the reflected surface, the area that's behind the frame, bright enough, that washes out any potential reflection that you might see on the front when you don't want to see the ghost. So you have to light up this area pretty well if you're going to avoid seeing the ghost at certain times. So basically, I've got the ghost in the closet over here. But this curtain is not just a set piece. It's actually there for a very important reason. Because the ghost is right there in the closet, there's the chance that from the sight line from the doorway, which is me standing over here, you can kind of see the ghost if there's no curtain. Plus the curtain provides a little bit of a blockage to seeing the other half of that frame in the background. So this side of the frame is a little more obvious back here. This side of the frame is a little more obvious when you're standing back. This one just sort of blends in with the wall. You don't really see it. I could have painted it something to try to make it match like the banister or something like that, but it didn't seem worth it because the test runs that I did on family members and such didn't even know what they were seeing. I mean, and it happened so fast, they don't know what to look for. But this side would have been a lot more obvious here because it's further down the view line. The ghost would have been a little more obvious too, being in the closet, because you would not see the closet door. The closet door is open here. So that is the purpose of this curtain. Like most magic tricks, you know, everything is there for a reason. It may look like it's just noise, but actually that plays a pivotal role. So yeah, let me turn on the light and show you a little bit. So you can kind of see the ghost. When I turn on the light in the room, you can kind of see the ghost there reflecting off of this surface. And you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Here's our ghost. It's actually a very simple design. I made these PVC lights here. Very simple, really, really simple. They're just cork with bulbs on the inside. I have a whole tutorial that I put together of how I did that. Yeah, and the ghost is just kind of a material that glows in black light, and found at a garage sale an old mask-like thing that I use for the eyes and all that, and it really works. It came out really well. And so there you have it, my friends. That's how it's done. I mean, you can really see it with the lights on. You can really see, oh yeah, there's a reflective surface there. But as you can see, when you light the scene correctly, I mean, it surpassed my expectations, honestly. I did not expect it to work as well as it does. Okay, so next question. I'm sure you're all wondering, what in the world did I use for the surface? Because this is a huge, huge surface, right? Well, I think probably the biggest hurdle to anyone trying to pull off this has always been glass. Like, how are you going to get a big giant pane of glass for a cheap price, right? And then it's dangerous, potentially it can shatter, whatever. And then there's always the thought of plexiglass. Well, that's a similar problem too. And of course, the number one problem with both of those is price. If you're a professional haunt or whatever, and you're spending $1 million on a maze, I don't know if anyone spends $1 million on a maze, but if you're spending a heck of a lot of money on a maze, then it may not matter. You can just pull out the money to buy giant sheets of glass and go for it. Plus, you can construct the maze to accommodate the ghost or whatever thing it is you're showing in the frame. In my case, though, this is just a home haunt for trick-or-treaters. I don't intend on winning any awards here, and if an adult or two understands how it's done, who cares, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. So my goal was to do this for almost nothing, and honestly, after months and months and months of research, what I discovered works really well is the weather. It's like a weatherproofing heat shrink that you use over windows. This particular one, you can buy them on Amazon. I got this whole thing for $10 on Amazon. This sheet, what it is you just tape this sheet up, and it has kind of the consistency of saran wrap a little bit, but you basically tape it around the frame and cut it to the frame, and then you take a blow dryer and heat the surface, and it stretches thin, the wrinkles vanish, and man, this thing, it works. I mean, it reflects. Now, if you were trying to do something other than some kind of fuzzy ghost apparition, it may not work very well, because it's not the sharpest image. If you need a really sharp image, like you want a person back there and it needs to be something that is just super sharp, you probably want to go with glass or with plexiglass, something along those lines. But if you're just doing what I'm doing here and you want the effect and you want it for cheap, and you need a big giant panel to where, you know, a kid is, their view is down here, they need to be able to look up and not really see that frame there. I mean, it has to be a big panel. You can do this for $10. I got the version that's meant for sliding glass doors, because that's the biggest panel you can get of this stuff. I shouldn't say panel, I should say sheet, I guess, or roll. But it's the biggest dimensions. So again, $10, and here I have a Pepper's Ghost effect. Who knew? I mean, if I knew I could do this, I might even consider putting Pepper's Ghosts all over the place in different windows, and, you know, for the displays and stuff. I mean, it really is that easy, guys, to do. So awesome stuff. And yeah, so that's it. I mean, everything is sequenced and controlled by Vixen, and that's my Pepper's Ghost effect. So hope you guys enjoyed it.